I'm Jamie Grayson. I have been in the baby gear industry for just over 20 years now. Back in the day, I started working at Bye Bye Baby as a product demonstrator. It all just kind of escalated, and now I'm all over the place. I'm on the road with Lainey with an event series called Babies and Bumps. We have 15 of those this year, and we will be announcing the schedule for next year very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. I am also a child passenger safety technician certified in the United States, Canada, and the UK. And I also recently went through my Safe Travel for All Children certification, which is car seats for children who might have special medical concerns and whatnot. So years back, I met Ellie Gurok, who used to run this channel with Magic Beans, back over the internet. And we've been friends for a very, very long time. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this are like, where is Ellie? Like, who is this? Ellie gave me the channel because Ellie has retired from the baby industry and wanted to keep this platform up because there's so much valuable information on it, but also like make sure it turned into a really solid platform for educational content, which is why we're doing this video here, because we started this video series, the Showdown series, back in the first year of the pandy. And just as a way to like keep working and like keep getting information out because people were still having babies. So we started the Showdown series, and we were doing car seats and high chairs and play yards and stroller wagons and strollers and everything you could possibly think of over on Facebook. You can still go watch a lot of those, but the new Facebook rules, they delete all the videos after 30 days. So we always wanted to have those videos there so that people could go back and actually use them as a resource. We figured out we would just start doing them over here now that I have this channel so that you can come back and watch this. It's free education. It is very important to me with my line of work because and I'm not criticizing people who charge for classes at all. It's something I've considered doing, but I always want to have accessible education to people who need it, specifically when it comes to car seats. So over tonight and tomorrow, and then a video next week, we're going to cover 3 different styles of car seats. Tonight is going to be baseless car seats. Tomorrow will be rear-facing only car seats. And then next week is going to be convertible car seats. Some of those are just standard convertible seats. Some of them do rotate. But we have 4. I want to say we have 4 in this video. I think we have 5 in the next one, and I think we have 5 in the one after that. And up until the end of the giveaway period, there's going to be a link in the caption of this video where you can enter to win one of the car seats we are demonstrating. So we're going to start with baseless just because we thought that would be kind of new and fun. We've never done just like a solo baseless category. And what I cannot say strongly enough, every car seat currently available for purchase in the United States market can be installed without a base. Now, there were exceptions with some older Orbit seats. The new Pebble Light required a base, and they still have that in Canada. But every single car seat, you don't have to use this part. We'll talk about this in conjunction with the GoMax. But you can install seats with just this, with the seat belt. Now, when this new baseless, and I'm going to put it in air quotes, when the new baseless category hit, a lot of people were like, oh my God, I don't trust it. It's always been safe. It has always been safe to install your car seats baseless when it is done correctly. Bases are really just an ease of use feature so that you can dock them in your car, you install them once, and you can get the seat in and out. Now, when we're looking at our car seat standards, and I'm going to try to simplify this as much as humanly possible. When we are looking at our car seat standards, one of our standards with FMVSS 213 is that your car seat, a harnessed car seat, you have to have the ability to install it with lower anchors or with a seat belt. So car seats that came with bases, those had lower anchor attachments. You could use a seat belt. When you took the shell with the harness off, you could use a seatbelt. Totally good. So when this new category of baseless car seats came out, Clek being the first one, they had to figure out, obviously, where are the lower anchor connectors in this? Like, there's no mechanism. So we'll talk about it when we really talk about Clek. They have a compartment back here with the lower anchor attachments hidden. So why would you want a baseless car seat if your car seat can already be installed without a base if you don't want to use it? I've always told people who live in cities that if you don't own a car, you deal with rideshare or rentals or taxis or whatever. If you have a car seat with the base, that base is a big piece of plastic that's just going to take up room in your house. And a lot of people in smaller living spaces don't have room for that. So not having that extra piece is really nice. If you have multiple cars, specifically the seats that have the rigid lower anchor attachments, we have 2 of those here. Those are very easy to pop in and out. If you have an older caregiver, a grandparent that may not be comfortable using lower anchors and tightening up a strap or tightening up a seatbelt, rigid lower anchors integrated into the shell of the seat make that much easier. If you have a smaller back seat or a truck, installing with just the shell of this part sometimes can save you 2 to 3 inches if you're not installing on top of that base. So that is also something to consider. Now, there's 2 big differences in this category of baseless car seats, and that's how the lower anchors operate. Hold please. This is the Peg Perego Urban Mobility. And when you install this with the seat belt, and I'm going to go over all of this, your lap belt would go across here. Your shoulder belt goes through the European belt route around the back right here. Where are your lower anchors? Your lower anchors are stored here on the side. And if you're familiar with lower anchors that are typical, you'll notice this is a soft webbing right here. This is very soft and it's flexible. That can be a very, very, very good thing. And I'll talk about why. Whereas if you look at the, come here, Graco GoMax, this is a different mechanism. This is rigid lower anchors that you just snap into place. This is a much faster way to install in and out of multiple vehicles, but some vehicles like lower anchor bars can be a little bit more embedded in the back seat. They can be harder to access. There are different things like waterfalls that can make them difficult to use. Some vehicle seats, this is what we call the seat bite. Right here, this is the seat bite. So some vehicles, they all have different geometry in terms of the angle. Some car seats with rigid lower anchors, because you only have 3 or 4 positions of those lower anchor attachments, you can't get quite the correct angle you need, specifically with a newborn. So you need to use bases like with the Graco GoMax. By having that soft webbing, you're able to install that seat very tightly, but you can adjust the angle of that seat to make sure that your seat is at the proper angle. And it's not like a set position number. So it's kind of 2 arguments for both of these and which is better. They are both very, very good. So without any further ado, I think I'm just going to go into this. So there are 5 baseless car seats on the market in the United States. So this is specifically going to be more United States driven information. There's not really a whole lot of difference regarding weight limits and whatnot. Some of these seats are also in baseless form, not available in Canada yet. So we're going to start with the Clek Liingo. If you know Clek, they are based in Canada. They're a wonderful, wonderful company. The Ling, they kind of went backwards when they were developing their seats. They started with boosters, went to convertibles, and then they went to infant seats. The Liingo is their baseless seat. And I'm not going to really mention retail prices at the moment because, as we know, they are in flux. They're all over the place because of the T word. So this seat, what I love about it is, as much as I love the Ling, and I think the Ling has one of the best bases for an infant car seat I have ever seen, this allows you to have a really solid car seat, same Clek quality, no brominated flame retardants in the seat. They have a recycling program. They're very eco-forward. This allows you to have that seat at a much lower price than if you were going to buy one with the base. So this is the Liingo. It comes in a lot of different fabric options. They even have one that zips. I do not have the zip, unfortunately, but the zip allows you to unzip the fabric, wash it. It's excellent. This is suitable from 4 to 30 pounds or 32 inches. And I think that's great. Now it does weigh just over 11.5 pounds. And the reason for that is because of this compartment back here with the lower anchors. Now, truth be told, this seat is so easy to install with the seat belt. I would almost never use your lower anchors. Their preferred method of install is a seat belt if you are able to do it. And if you want to do that, you can actually unscrew this base here on the back. I don't know if you can see that. That's where it is. You can unscrew this base right here, take that off, and it cuts the weight of this down to like just right around 9 pounds. So it's a very light seat if you get rid of this compartment. If you get rid of this compartment, you can also put it in the lean base, which I think is pretty great. All of the seats I have here tonight do have an optional base. Should you want that? Why would you want that? Angle of your vehicle not lining up to get the car seat at the proper angle. Some people just like them, you know. So you can have like the base for your like day-to-day car and like throw it baseless into another car. It's not that deep. Now this does have a really good infant insert. And infant inserts on seats like this are basically designed to help keep a little baby out of that C shape. We want to flatten them out to help keep their airway open. So the infant inserts on Cleks are great. They were developed in part with pediatricians in sight, and it's just excellent. Now, this does not have a no rethread harness. So as your child gets taller and you need to adjust that shoulder harness height, again, remember, at or below the shoulders for this seat, you do need to manually rethread this. That's not the end of the world. It is a different situation when you're on a forward-facing convertible. But in a seat like this, you're only going to be adjusting that a few times. And some new parents actually find this easier to deal with on an infant seat because a no rethread harness almost has too many variations in it, which can be a good thing and it's easier. But this allows you like, oh, my kid's shoulder is too low. I need to really adjust that shoulder harness down. So that's just a really nice thing, I think. I'm trying to remember. The infant insert goes out at 11 pounds. There is no black and white across the board what weight your infant inserts have to come out. All of them are going to be a little bit different. This is specifically 11 pounds. Some inserts are like 20 pounds. Some inserts are just about physical fit of the child in the seat and don't have a weight limit. But this is an excellent seat. And regardless of your infant seat, if you travel a lot or you deal with ride shares, one thing I really, really, really want y'all to look at, especially if you're not going to be using rigid lower anchors to install some of these seats, is something called a European belt route. And on the back of the Clek Liingo and the Ling, this is this blue tab right here. Let me see. Yeah, you can see that. So this allows for a very different method of installation. And I'll explain really what that does. Now, because their preferred method of install is a seat belt, I'm not going to go to the trouble to like pull all of this out. Like you can see the lower anchor attachments are right here. They are connected, come here. They are connected to a strap that you basically thread through here, and then you have your the push-on lower anchor connectors connected to that strap. So it's basically almost like putting a lower anchor seat belt over your car seat, and you just go through the belt path, the lap belt path here on the side, clip them in, tighten it up. Again, like I said, seat belt install on this is really, really beautiful. So that's what I'm going to show you. Carry handle on this also needs to be in an upright position. You can look which side. There we go. It's on both sides in two different languages, just to make sure that carry handle is in the proper position. Now, there's also a lot of, I wouldn't say misinformation, but wrong information about this carry handle position on infant car seats. There is no black and white across the board. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's back. Sometimes it can be in any locked position. Sometimes it is forward. This does not always function as like an anti-rebound feature. And I think a lot of people have that told because of people on TikTok. That's not correct. So just make sure that your car seat handle is always in the correct position. Now, when you're installing your car seat, and this one is, because it is, I'm going to show you with the seatbelt, you do have a little more variance. Obviously, you always want to install your car seat on flat level land. It is very important that your car seat is at the correct angle. And if you're installing it on an incline, you will have no idea. So there's going to be a line here, that yellow line here on the Liingo, and you want that to line up with the horizon, be parallel, okay? So if I'm going to install this right now, and full disclosure, this is going to be a night of awkward squatting. So, and my retractor in this seat has seen better days, but it's doing okay. It's doing okay. So you're going to pull your seatbelt out like this, and then buckle that down straight. And obviously you want to make sure there are no folds, creases in your seatbelt, etc. So your lap belt has gone through there. Now, come here. You're going to pull your shoulder belt around. Come here. And go through that European belt route. The European belt route is a wonderful thing, and then you need to lock your seatbelt. So you're going to pull your seatbelt out all the way slowly, and then you'll hear that ratchet. That means you have locked your seatbelt. So a trick when you're installing with the seatbelt or with like soft webbing is if you can get in your car and think of like you're doing like a, what was her name? The thigh master, Suzanne Summers. Put your thigh here, pull your webbing of the seatbelt right here around, and thread this back up. Now, you can see that is a very, very tight install, and it is super easy. Now, with the shoulder belt around here, that is what helps it get a really nice tight install. But by having the shoulder belt around the back, they're in a crash. We refer to this as rotation and rebound, action and reaction. A seat will rotate downwards towards the point of impact and then rebound back into place. By having your shoulder belt there around the back of the seat, it's almost functioning as like a load leg or a tether in a forward-facing seat. And it helps eliminate a lot of that initial rotation down so that there is less rebound going forward. It is very, very easy to do. I love this seat very, very much. And it's terrific. Now, this is also a really good baseless seat if you are concerned about stroller compatibility, because Graco, great seat. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Stroller compatibility is on the Graco site, but it's also kind of all over the board right now because some of the old snug ride adapters are a little different. So if you have something that has a Graco adapter, call Graco and ask them specifically if the GoMax will work. One of the best things about the Clek is it uses what we call like European style adapters. So you're thinking like Nuna, Cybex, Maxi Cozy, Clek. Not every stroller will work with a Ling. So check the Clek website. They have a giant list of stroller compatibility just off the board. I think if you get a Bumble ride in a Clek, you've done yourself a beautiful thing. Oh, I got a hiccup. So that is the Clek Liingo. I'm not going to look at my phone right now for like questions. I'm going to do that towards the end. Lainey is getting a couple for me. But we have 3 more to go through just for fun. Why not? And again, if you're watching this, hit a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. It's what you do on YouTube, I guess. I don't know. So now we have the Graco GoMax, and I'm just doing these in alphabetical order, to be honest, to like not show favoritism. The Graco GoMax is one of the seats with the rigid lower anchors, and it does also have the ability to use a base. Again, why would you use a base with this seat? Like I said, sometimes based on the geometry of your seat height, getting a newborn angle correct with the seat can be tricky or difficult. So a base will help with that problem. Now, a few things I love about this seat, because I do really, really love this seat a lot. It weighs just under 11 pounds. It is suitable from 4 to 30 pounds or 32 inches. And again, just for like general safety, you don't wait until they hit both combined. It's one or the other. Bump them to the next stage. So from a rear-facing infant seat like this, you would go to a rear-facing convertible. You would never go to a forward-facing seat after you leave one of these, okay? Just raise your hand and promise me that. Now, they do also have a physical fit limitation, and some seats are a little different. So obviously, rigid manual. But in a rear-facing seat, it's top of the head, top of the shell, or the adjustment handle. Once there's 1 inch, you would need to bump them out of that as well, even if they haven't hit weight or height. But again, every seat is different. Clek even has different rules if you're using the base. So you got to read your book. Always call customer service. Do not be afraid. Now, Graco, over the years, Graco has always made very, very solid infant seats. Like, they're solid. They do their job. We love a snug lock. It's a great, great way to lock your seatbelt. But what they have done with these seats is they have changed the fabric to where the fabric of this seat like feels better than any other Graco seat I have ever personally touched. They also do not have those added flame retardant chemicals, which we'll talk about in a minute, because to me, jury's still out, full disclosure on if that matters or not. If that's important to you, great. We're going to hit that in a second. But a few things about this that I think really set it apart. It is a no rethread harness. And again, it is 6 of one, half dozen of the other on if you think that's an important feature or not. Some people love it, some people don't. I love that the level indicator, the bubble, is right here on the top by the belt path, so it is very visible. I think in terms of their labels, all their labeling is good. It is very easy to understand. And one of my favorite things about this seat is how the rigid lower anchors actually work. So I should have done these backwards because it would actually make more sense. There's a little handle here on the side. You squeeze that and you pull the lower anchor attachments out. Now there are 4 different positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, to help you achieve the proper angle and position of the car seat. So if you know, like, your car at home, it is a 3, and then you pull this out of your car, like, or let's just say it's set at a 4. You pull it out of the car, and when you do it, it does automatically retract. This is the only one that does have an automatic retract on the lower anchors. The other ones you have to pop up. It is still very easy. Not a deal breaker, but it's just one extra little step you have to do. But it has a memory feature. So it will go and lock right back into that position it was last in. And then if you're going in a different car, you just adjust it as needed. It is very, very, very easy. And it's a terrific seat. So if I was going to install this in my car, it just goes like that. It's that quick, okay? Now, is this at the correct angle? Oops, knock over my water. This is actually okay. Now, with these seats that do have rigid lower anchor connectors that are baseless, some people get a little freaked out because of this movement and this movement, okay? This is all absolutely okay. This is absolutely okay movement. Your soft webbing versus rigid latch, they function very differently. So rigid latch basically makes this like a piece of steel connected to your car, and it doesn't have that stretch that soft webbing like the nylon and the seatbelt does. That's why the tightness is different, but also just based on like some automobiles will have that movement a little bit more, but as long as those are properly connected on those bars, you do not need to worry. Now, when it comes to this movement, you will notice again, because this is steel, this is not like a plastic hook on a seat connected. This also can help reduce some of that rebound back, which I think is very nice. So it's a great little seat. And again, just to remove it, you pull that and the lower anchors snap back into place. Now, when my brain is going crazy, handlebar needs to be up. Keep it in that position. It does have a base, like I said, and it does have a lot of Graco strollers and baby jogger that it can go on. So this is a great seat. Again, really nice canopy on it. Great fabric, and it's a very solid car seat. So you can also get a little travel system. I did a video on that over on TikTok. It's like a little stroller frame that you can snap the car seat into. So if you wanted to get something like one of this car seats that wheels fall out of it, if you get what I'm saying, but you didn't want to spend that money, you could do a system like this, pull the car seat out, fold the little frame up, fold the frame into like the forward of your car, and you'd be solid and set to go. So next, how am I doing on time? My goodness, because I do like to talk a lot, and that's my problem. Oh, it's only 6:28. That's excellent. So this is the Joie Mint Latch. I absolutely love this car seat. They really hit the market running very hard. They are on the road with us this year. Everybody wants to play with this stuff. It's excellent. The Mint Latch is similar in terms of rigid lower anchors. There are 3 positions, and instead of a little button on the side of the car seat, it's a very easy to squeeze trigger here on the lower anchor bars. Now, that being said, if you have arthritis or like an issue with your grip, you may find the mechanism on the GoMax harder to use because you do have to squeeze this up. This is a very easy flip down mechanism, but again, when you release it, you just have to pop that back into place. Now, this is suitable from 4 to 30 pounds or 30 inches. The insert on here is 11-pound weight limit. Now, when it comes to stroller compatibility, and this is where it gets dicey, they are, as of filming, dealing with a lot of stroller compatibility tests. So right now, even though they make an adapter for the Mockingbird stroller, in terms of Joie's compatibility, this Mint Latch only works with Joie strollers. And it's not Joie, it's not Joie, it's Joie, Joie. So it will only work with Joie strollers. They have a lot of different strollers though. So you're gonna find more than likely a stroller that fits your need and your price point, because the one thing is like the price point and accessibility of these, like you can get them at Target, you can get them on Baby List, you can get them other places. This is a very solid, great engineering, great product at a very sensible mid-range price point. And again, because this is gonna live on the internet, I'm not gonna talk about what the price is. I also don't remember all the time. Now, this is also a rethread harness. So you do have to rethread that as your kid gets taller. Not a big deal, like I said, but it's really nice. And you will notice I'm able to throw this around a little bit. When it comes to all of the car seats that I have in this video right now, this is the lightest one. This is 9 pounds, okay? So if you're worried about weight, this is going to be the lightest one, unless you like, you know, take out the infant inserts or like, you know, the lower anchor box on the back of the Clek. And I also weigh all of these myself. I have a little scale for postage over here for like big boxes. So I weigh all the strollers, all the car seats, all the stuff by myself because I am a nerd. But just to show you how this works as well, you would just flip that out, boop, just like that. Make sure it's at the correct angle for your car. And it just snaps right into those lower anchor bars. Let me turn that in the bite of your seat. Like it's very, very easy. Again, movement there, that is expected and okay. The movement along the bars, horizontally or laterally, this is also completely fine. Nothing to stress out about. And again, it will vary based on what your vehicle is. So very, very easy to use this. Now, this, as of now, the fabrics on Joie seats, they are not one of these like no added flame retardants. They still do chemical testing on their fabrics to make sure that like nothing is toxic. When when this movement of like no added flame retardants on car seats kind of hit the market years back, again, you need your car seat to not catch on fire, God forbid. Some of these fabrics have things like wool. Some of them have a tighter weave so that it is harder for oxygen to get through to allow for more fire or flammability. But to me, again, we don't know. We don't know the dangers in terms of exposure with car seats and whatnot. But in my head, if you get a seat that isn't like one of these FR-free seats, it also is like, this helps enforce the argument that we don't need to keep our kids in car seats all day. Car seats are meant for the car. We're the only culture that keeps our kids in car seats on a stroller all day. It's not good for them. So if you're worried about that, obviously we want to limit exposures to chemicals. But if you don't feel bad about getting this seat just because it's not labeled as FR-free. Now that being said, and this is where I get mouthy, if people have followed me for a while, they know this and just how I operate. Car seat harnesses come from 2 suppliers, okay? The harnesses are covered with flame retardants. They can't do anything about that. So regardless of the seat, you're gonna have a proprietary blend of flame retardant chemicals on the harness. You can't get around it. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk about that. It doesn't necessarily mean they're bad, okay? So we've gone over Clek, we've gone over the Graco GoMax, we have gone over the Joie Mint Latch, and now we have the Peg Perego. And the Peg, I love this seat a whole lot. It is a little bit bigger. It's about 10.5 pounds, just over 10.5 pounds. It's 4 to 30 pounds or 32 inches. One thing I didn't, you know what, we'll go back. I made a chart because I wanted to talk about depth of the seats. We'll go back in a second. The infant insert on here is kind of like a 2-stage moment. So you have the ability to like pull out the top part of it when the kid is little and they're growing up. And then you have the actual big insert and you can keep this in until 20 pounds. So this is a great seat. Now, one thing that I love, and you can get a base with this. We're going to talk about another version of this seat called the Lounge in the rear-facing video tomorrow. But one thing I love about this seat, because we know that carry handle placement is one big misuse that we see, and it can affect the performance of the car seat, is you will notice there in the carry handle, there's a blue line, okay? That is the path for the lap belt on this. So to even install this baseless with the seat, you do also with lower anchors, but with the seat belt, you have to put this into this position. What does that do? It turns that carry handle into an anti-rebound bar for a baseless install. And not many car seats have this feature. I think this is terrific. If you wanted to install this with the seat belt, just to show you how that works, you thread that through, come here. There we go. We come here. Now, that being said, Peg Perego, this seat is not as, not as shallow as some others. And a couple things I love about this one, the European belt route is it is structured very differently. It's 2 like blue tabs here. I'll pull it up and show you. But it just makes it just feels very, very nice. And then you Suzanne Summers it. Boom, boom, boom. That seatbelt is locked. You probably just can't hear it. That is an excellent install. Now this, in terms of depth, let's just, oh, you can't see. Let's just go over depth. This is about 28 inches deep. The Joie is about 25.5. The Graco is about 25.5. And the Clek is just under 28. That being said, all of those measurements are almost like an estimate because it will also depend on your own vehicle and how much like the fabric compresses, the upholstery compresses when you're installing your car seat. So just use those as kind of like a guideline. But it is really an excellent seat. It does have a no rethread harness. Peg Perego, most of their stuff is designed and made in Italy, which can come in very handy now with the T word. But it's just beautiful. Their fabrics are great. They have a massive, come here, they call it the pagoda hood. Clek also has one that's about this big. So if you are worried about inclement weather or sun or like old people wanting to come up and get their hands in your baby's business, this is a really nice feature. They have stroller compatibility with their strollers, and they also make a ton of strollers. One of my favorite little ones is called the City Loop, and it is like a little frame where you can put this car seat on it, or a stroller seat, or a bassinet, and it will fold beautifully. That is a wonderful thing. We have that on the road with us with Babies and Bumps as well. But this is excellent. Now, where the lower anchors, they are here on the side. You would just pull these out just like that, attach them, tighten it up just like you would any other car seat. It's really not that different. But it is an excellent seat. The fabric is great. No, none of the added flame retardant chemicals in it. And they just do a really beautiful job with this. So that's 4 seats. Clek, Graco, Joie, and Peg Perego. If you have any questions or comments, obviously I'll stay on here for a minute and look at things. But if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below if you're watching this after the live. I will try to answer as many as possible. But make sure you like and subscribe and enter the contest, and stay tuned because we have several more of these scheduled for the year. And I'll see you around. Hope you learned something. So, wooby dooby, that was a lot. This is, I'm going to look over here. I'm going to look at my phone really quick to see if there's anything. But I don't know. I have no idea. YouTube Live, what a gift. Oh, I'm glad you found it helpful. Jamie's house full of strollers. Yes, it is a lot. Yeah, and if you're still here, like, again, just make sure you hit that thumbs up. Hit a thumbs up because it does just help with the YouTube of it all. You know what? I'm going to lean over here. How can you get a consultation with me? Listen, every now and then I do offer those like publicly. But right now with our travel schedule, with the events, I just do not have the bandwidth at all. When I'm done with Babies and Bumps, our last event is at the beginning of November. So we have 5. We have 5 more. Cincinnati is this weekend. Cleveland is the weekend after that. And then in October, we have Charlotte and Nashville. And then we have Houston at the beginning of November. If you go to thejamiegrayson.com, all of those dates are there. If you live in the area and want to come hang, it's a wonderful event. It's a very good event. We're very happy with it, very proud. So come say hi. And then, what is this? Oh, man. Yeah, and then tomorrow we have just typical like rear facing only seats. So let me see if I can remember what we have. Laney, I'm not going to look. We will have a Graco. We will have a Peg Perego. We will have a Roamer. We will have Even Flow. And we will have Baby Jogger. Yeah, great. And then for the convertibles next week, let me hold please. We're going to have Even Flow. We will have Joy. We will have Graco, Baby Jogger, and Roamer. Great. I did a good job remembering those. So let me see. Yeah. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and stop this live stream. I'm very happy I got that in under 30 minutes though, because that's great. So it won't be too long for people to watch on YouTube. So thank y'all for hanging out and like seeing what the first night of this was actually like. I want to start doing more of just like informal like car seat classes and stroller stuff like that, and just like high chair rundowns that are just like very chill. Again, like I said, I want to make this information accessible for free for you all. So yeah, it'll be a fun winter because I will not be going outside. But thank you all for hanging out. Lainey, thank you. You are the best. Thank you for handling comments and whatnot. And I will see you all later and see you on the internet or in person. Show up.